Hello guys, welcome to the course P block elements. We are discussing the group 15 elements. So far in this course, we have talked about the group 15 elements, atomic properties, the physical properties, the oxidation state. And last lecture, we started with a discussion on the chemical properties and we had a detailed discussion on the hydrides of the group 15 elements. So continuing further, we are going to carry on the discussion on the chemical properties. Today we will be talking about the reactivity of these elements with oxygen, or you can say the formation of the oxides. So it's going to be again a very important discussion. At the end of the lecture, you're going to see a few multiple choice questions also, which we try to take from NCERT exemplar book, from the previous year examinations like JEE, NEET, and even other state competition also. And then today's lecture is going to be a very special one because today's have an edge section is going to give you a smart little trick which will be really very helpful to you in the examination. So please be with me till the end of this lecture. You are going to really enjoy it and you are going to learn a lot many things today. I am Dr. Ritu Johar, your educator from the channel, and I hope you're going to enjoy your learning with me. Now into the discussion on the chemical properties of the nitrogen family. As we are discussing the formation of the oxides, I would like you to take back to the lecture on the oxidation states of these elements. So we've had already a detailed discussion on the various oxidation states. We've talked about that all these members, they show a range of oxidation states from -3 to +5. Now, when they will be forming oxides, what will be the range of their oxidation state? Well, it is going to be +1 to +5. Why? Because all these elements, they can form oxides, but oxygen, this is more electronegative than these elements. And hence, these elements will always exist in the positive oxidation state in these oxides. So it is not going to be any negative oxidation state that you will be seeing, all positive oxidation states. So the range is going to be +1 to +5. Now what we see is that most of the group 15 members, they either form trioxides, that is the general formula M2O3, where the oxidation state of the element of the group 15 is going to be what? +3. Okay, and they will be also forming pentoxides, that is with the general formula M2O5, where the element is going to be having the oxidation state of +5. So all these elements in their compounds with oxygen will be existing definitely as +3 and +5 oxidation state compounds. Okay, I hope this is clear. All right. Now nitrogen, this forms a number of these oxides with the oxidation state ranging from +1 to +5. So you will be seeing nitrogen in all the 5 oxidation state, +1, +2, +3, +4, +5. Well, the rest of the members, we are going to see them in generally +3 and +5 oxidation state. Now, why is this so? Because we've already studied that nitrogen, this is a very small sized element and also it has a high electronegativity. So what we see is this has a strong tendency to form p pi multiple bonds with oxygen, which is also a very small element. So the overlapping of the p orbitals can take place very effectively between nitrogen and oxygen. Therefore, we see the formation of the p pi bonds. Okay, so it can satisfy its valency with oxygen in a number of ways. That is why we see the compounds in a number of oxidation states. But for the rest of the group 15 elements, that is phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth, they do not form many oxides because they have a large size and their tendency to form the p pi multiple bonds with oxygen is going to decrease as we are going to move down the group. So now I want you to look at this table, which is showing you all the oxides of the group 15 elements. So what we have studied is that all these elements, they will be forming oxides in +3 oxidation state. So you can see all the oxides over here. And then also in the +5 oxidation state, which you can see again for all the elements, we have the oxides in the +5 and +3 oxidation state. Nitrogen is special that it is showing all oxidation states +1 to +5 compounds, N2O in +1, NO in +2, N2O3 in +3, N2O4 in +4, and N2O4, this is a dimer of NO2. So NO2 also will be having the +4 oxidation state, and then we have N2O5, the +5 oxidation state. So we've already discussed these in the oxidation state lecture also. Okay. Now very specially what you can see over here is that apart from nitrogen, there is phosphorus also showing one more oxidation state compound. Okay, so we have P4O8 in the +4 oxidation state for phosphorus. Now, why is this so? So it is again essentially the same understanding that as we are moving down the group from nitrogen to bismuth, the size of the atoms is increasing and therefore the tendency to form p-pi bonds is decreasing. But phosphorus, this is just next to nitrogen. So we do see one special more compound in case of phosphorus. Other than that, all the three, they will be forming the oxides only in +3 and +5 oxidation state. Now, one more thing which you can see over here, phosphorus also we have written over here P4O6. So this is also going to be a dimer of P2O3 and this is going to be a dimer of P2O4. Okay, and this will be a dimer of P2O5. So generally the compounds that we see for phosphorus are going to be P2O3 and P2O5, but they exist again as a dimer. Just now, as I told you, for NO2 also, that exists as a dimer as N2O4. So that is why we write over here N2O4. Okay. Now, one very important trend that we have to discuss as far as the oxides they are concerned is going to be the acidic character. Which of these so many oxides is an acidic oxide? Which of these oxides is a basic oxide? Which is an amphoteric oxide? Which is a neutral oxide? So how will you learn that? For that, you just have to remember two very important points, which you can call it as a trick also, or just remember them as points. That is what your choice is. Okay, but the points are, first point is that all the oxides in the higher oxidation state, they are more acidic than those with the lower oxidation state. So the most acidic oxide is going to be in the higher oxidation state. And the second thing that you have to remember is that the acidic character of the oxide, this decreases down the group. Okay. And this is going to be in relation to the electronegativity also. As we go down the group, the electronegativity of the elements that decreases. So we can also say that the acidic character of the oxide is going to decrease as the electronegativity is going to decrease. Okay, so just keep these 2 points in mind and then we are going to see the trend for the acidic character. So now I want you to see again this table, but now in this table what I've added is that I have written down the character of these oxides. So here first of all what you can see is that nitrogen N2O plus 1 oxidation state, this is a neutral oxide. Similarly NO in the +2 oxidation state is also a neutral oxide, and +3, +4, +5 they are all acidic oxides. But which one is going to be the most acidic? Well, we have already learned that oxide in the higher oxidation state is going to be more acidic than the oxide with the lower oxidation state. So what is going to be the most acidic oxide out of all these? It is going to be N2O5. So from +1 to +5 oxidation state, the acidic character of the oxides is increasing, and these two, they are in a very low oxidation state, so we find them to be neutral. So which is the two important neutral oxides of nitrogen? Please do remember +1 and +2 oxidation state. Okay, and then the other thing that we have learned is that the acidic character of the oxide decreases down the group. So if you compare one oxidation state for all of these group elements, then you will be finding that for N2O3, for example, the +3 oxidation state, if we compare, so N2O3, this is acidic, P4O6, this is acidic, ASO4O6, this is amphoteric, SB4O6, this is amphoteric, and bismuth oxide, this is basic. So we are moving from an acid to a basic character, although this is also weakly basic only, not very strongly basic, but it is still basic. So from nitrogen to bismuth, as we are going to go down the group, the acidic character of the oxides is decreasing and the basic character is increasing. Okay, so I hope this is clear. You will remember that we are going to go down the group. The electronegativity of the elements, this is decreasing, and the acidic character of the oxides is also decreasing. Okay, similarly, you can see for the +5 oxidation state also, all these oxides, they are acidic in nature, but the acidic character will be decreasing down the group. So this is going to be it. So down the group, the acidic character is going to decrease. So now let us just quickly put down these very important points that we have learned for the acidic character, because this is not going to be helpful for the group 15 element study. It is going to be helpful for all the P block element study. Why? Let me explain you that. So first point that we have learned is that among the oxides of the same element, higher is the oxidation state, more is going to be the acidic character. And we have learned therefore that N2O to N2O5 plus 1 to plus 5 oxidation state, as we are going to increase the oxidation state, the strength of the acidic strength is also going to increase, right? So we will be having N2O5 to be a strong acidic oxide, whereas N2O and NO, we know these are neutral oxides. Okay, all the three, they are going to be acidic, but the acidic character is going to increase with the increase in the oxidation state. But can we put this same study understanding to other oxides also? For example, if I have to compare carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide, which is going to be more acidic, or if I have to compare sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide, which is going to be more acidic, can we use the same principle? Yes, we can. Just simply check the oxidation state. For carbon monoxide, carbon will be having +2, and here carbon dioxide, it will be +4. Similarly, over here sulfur will be +4 and here sulfur will be +6. So which will be a stronger acidic oxide? Carbon dioxide and sulfur trioxide. So just let me put this down. So I hope now you're finding this interesting, because just learning the group 15 elements, you are learning the group 14 elements also, you're learning the group 16 element study also, right? All right. Now next thing, greater the electronegativity of the element, more is going to be the acidic strength of its oxide. So we know, as we are going to go down the group 15, we will be finding the acidic strength of the oxides to be decreasing, because the electronegativity that decreases. And that is why we have studied for the +3 oxidation states of the group 15 elements, N2O3, this will be having the strongest acidic oxide, and in the +5 oxidation state also N2O5 will be having the highest, strongest acidic oxide. And when we move on to bismuth, I hope you all remember, that has even become basic, right? And here over here antimony oxide, this was amphoteric. Although +5 oxidation state, the oxides, they are acidic, but the acidic character is decreasing down the group. So these three, they were acidic. This was amphoteric, and then we moved on to bismuth oxide, which is not written over here. You can write over here Bi2O3. So that was a weakly basic oxide. So acidic to basic as we are going down the group. Okay. So as the electronegativity is decreasing, the acidic strength is decreasing. Now, another thing again, can we compare carbon dioxide and silicon dioxide also the same way? Well, again, we are going down the group, the electronegativity is decreasing. Therefore, carbon dioxide, this will be a stronger acidic oxide than SiO2. So I can write this way also, right? So you just have to remember these very important points, and you can compare the oxides this way for group all the P block elements. All right. Now one more thing that is going to be very interesting, that you over here have learned that the oxides of the non-metals, they are acidic. Those of metalloids, they are amphoteric, and those of metals, they are basic. So we have nitrogen and phosphorus oxides to be acidic. As we are going down, arsenic and antimony oxides, they are amphoteric. Arsenic oxide will be less amphoteric, antimony oxide will be more amphoteric, and for bismuth oxide, we have talked that this is going to be weakly basic, because bismuth is metallic in nature, right? But now, do we see the trends for conversion of metals to non-metals even in a period? Yes, we do. In a period, we know, as we are going to move from left to right, we have a change in the properties of the elements. The group 1, 2 elements, they are metallic in nature, and as we move to the p block elements, they become non-metallic compounds. So can we put the same trend for the oxides over here in the period also? Yes, we can. The acidic character of the oxides is going to increase from left to right in a period, right? So the group 1 and 2 element oxides, they are basic oxides. And when we are going to move on to 15, 16, 17, obviously the topmost ones, if you are going to talk about, they will be all non-metallic oxides. They will be acidic oxides. Okay, like we have done for nitrogen. So nitrogen oxide, if you're going to compare them in the same oxidation state, you will be finding them to be what? They will be finding them to be non-metallic oxides. They will be acidic in nature. So again, if I have to compare now SiO2, P4O10, SO3 and Cl2O7, we are moving in a period from left to right. So the acidic strength of the oxides will be increasing, and Cl2O7, this will be the strongest acidic oxide. Okay, so I hope now these points you will be remembering. You should write them down in a separate notebook, because this is not helping you only in the group 15 elements. This is helping you in the study of the p block elements, even in the study of the group 1 and 2 elements, because from this you have come to know that the oxides of group 1 and 2, they are going to be basic oxides, because group 1, 2 elements, they are metals. So metal oxides, they are basic in nature. And you also know again that when we are going to add water to basic oxides, they will be forming hydroxides, and that is why we call them as alkalis. Okay. So from this, you can also remember now the basic character of these oxides. So the basic character of these oxides is going to increase as we are going to go down the group. So for example, +3 oxidation state oxides, if we compare phosphorus and arsenic oxides, they will be acidic. Then antimony oxide, this is going to be amphoteric, and bismuth 3 oxide, this is going to be typically basic. This reacts with acids to form salts, right? So down the group, the basic character of the oxides is increasing and the acidic character, that is decreasing. Clear? Good. Now, one more important thing which I want to tell you in relation to these oxides, which is going to be very, very important for you people, and that is going to be when the trioxides of the group 15 elements, they are going to be dissolved in water, they will be forming the corresponding us acid. What do I mean by that is that, for example, we have N2O3. So here nitrogen is in the +3 oxidation state. When you're going to add water to this, what you will be getting is the corresponding us acid, that is HNO2. Okay, and when you are going to, for example, put P4O6 in water, then what you will be getting, again it will be H3PO3, which is going to be phosphorus acid. So N2O3 will give us nitrous acid and P4O6 will give us phosphorus acid. This is going to be again important for you. When these trioxides, they are dissolved in water, we will be getting the corresponding us acids. Okay, and here you can also see that we have nitrogen in the +3 oxidation state. In HNO2 also we will be having nitrogen in the +3 oxidation state. Similarly, P4O6, phosphorus is in the +3 oxidation state. In H3PO3 also phosphorus is in the +3 oxidation state. So the oxidation state is going to be remaining the same. Okay, and similarly when we are going to dissolve the pentoxides in water, then the corresponding ic acid will be formed. Again, for example, we have N2O5. So N2O5, when you're going to put this into water, what you will be getting is HNO3. So here nitrogen is in the +5 oxidation state. Even in the acid, it is going to be in the +5 oxidation state. And if you look at P4O10, phosphorus is in the +5 oxidation state. The corresponding acid is also going to be in the +5 oxidation state, and it will be the ic acid for phosphorus, that is phosphoric acid. So N2O3 will be forming HNO2 and N2O5 will be forming HNO3. P4O6 will be forming H3PO3 and P4O10 will be forming H3PO4. So this is nitrous acid, this is nitric acid, this is phosphorus acid, this is phosphoric acid. Okay, so this is again going to be very, very helpful to you. In fact, at the end of the lecture, there is going to be one very interesting trick related to this coming up. So now let us see a few lecture review questions. The question which I always ask you at the end, which are going to be very important from this lecture, and also they are going to be very important for your learning and revision purpose. So the first question is, which pair of oxides they are neutral? And these are the oxides of nitrogen. So you have to tell which of these oxides they are going to be neutral oxides. We've already done this. So I hope you all remember, and you are going to put your correct answer in the comment section. I'm going to be waiting for your answers. If you are learning, you are enjoying my lectures, I want your answers in the comment section. That is the only way I come to know how much you're gaining from the lectures. All right. So this is one question that you have to answer. The second question is, the correct order of the acidic strength of the oxides of nitrogen is. So this one should be also very simple for you people. We have already discussed this. What is going to be the acidic character of the oxides of nitrogen? So this is second question that you have to put your answer in the comment section. So the next question is N2O3. This is an acidic oxide and anhydride of HNO2, an acidic oxide and the anhydride of H2N2O2, a neutral oxide and anhydride of HNO3, a basic oxide and anhydride of HNO2. So there are two things that you have to answer in this question. First of all, you have to tell whether this is an acidic oxide, this is a basic oxide, amphoteric, neutral oxide. So you should be able to tell which nature the oxide has. So again, this is going to be very important for you people to remember the table that I have given you and the tricks that I have told you to remember the acidic character for these oxides. Okay. Now the second part is, we have to tell that these are the anhydrides of which acid. So do remember, what do we mean by the word anhydride? Hydride and N in front of this. This means that we are removing some water out of it. So we have these acids as oxoacids. Okay, so these are oxoacids, and from these oxoacids, if you're going to remove the water molecule completely, the oxide that you will be getting will be called as the anhydride. Okay, so anhydride means the oxoacid minus water is called as the anhydride. Okay, so you have to tell that N2O3 is going to be obtained from which oxoacid by the loss of water, or you can understand it the other way, that when we are going to put water into this, what is the oxoacid that you will be getting. So this is what you have already learned, right? So you have to put the answer for this also in the comment section. So till now you have got homework of 3 questions which I want you to put in the comment section. Now let us look at question number 4. So next question is question number 4, and this is a question that is not going to be a homework question for you. We are going to discuss it just now. This is a NCERT exemplar question and it has been taken up from various topics. So I just want to discuss this with you people. All right. So which of the following orders they are correct as per as the properties mentioned against each? So first we have is oxides of various elements. We have to compare their acidic strength, which we have learned today's lecture, and that is why I put this question over here. All right. So now you all know that silicon, phosphorus and sulfur, they are period 3 elements, right? So in a period moving from left to right, we have just now learned that the acidic strength is going to increase because the non-metallic character of the elements is increasing from left to right. All right. So from silicon oxide to P2O3 and SO2, we know now that we are moving from left to right in the period. Therefore, the acidic strength is increasing. And if we compare As2O3, this is going to be a 4th period element just below sulfur. Right, so this is a group 15 element. So you all know now because we have studied group 15 elements from so long now. So we have this, and as we're going to go down the group, that also you know that the acidic strength of the oxides that decreases. So this is essentially going to be the correct order as far as the acidic strength is going to be concerned. So this option is going to be correct. Okay, then we move on to arsenic hydride, phosphine and ammonia, and you have to tell the enthalpy of vaporization. So this is the amount of heat that will be required to convert a liquid into vapors. So essentially we are talking about the boiling point trends over here. So what do you remember from the last lecture related to the boiling points of the group 15 hydrides. I hope you all remember that from phosphorus to bismuth, if you're going to compare the hydrides, the molecular mass is going to increase. As the molecular mass is going to increase, the van der Waals forces of attraction will be increasing, and therefore the boiling points, they will be increasing. But we have a special case, nitrogen. So we have ammonia. This will be having a higher boiling point. Why? Because of the hydrogen bonding taking place between the various molecules, right? So we have obviously ammonia out of these three having the highest boiling point or the highest enthalpy of vaporization. But between arsenic hydride and phosphine, phosphine is going to be having a lower enthalpy of vaporization. So this choice is going to be incorrect. Right. Next, we have to talk about the more negative electron gain enthalpy. So electron gain enthalpy is going to be more negative when the element can gain electrons more easily. And more electronegative an element is, we know that the electron gain enthalpy is going to be more. But there we have an exception between chlorine and fluorine. Fluorine, because it has a very small size, so it repels the incoming electron. Therefore, we find that chlorine, this has a higher negative electron gain enthalpy in comparison to fluorine. So therefore, this choice is also going to be incorrect. So I am revising each and everything of inorganic with you people time and again, so that you remember all the concepts. Okay, so my motto is not just teaching you group 15 elements in this lecture. Whatever we can talk about, let us do that with the help of questions, so that you have in total perfect preparation for your examination. Okay, and next we have is now water, H2S, H2SC and H2 TE. So here what you can see is that we have the group 16 elements, which we will be discussing after we will be completing the group 15 elements. But all these, they are the hydrides of the group 16 elements, and the trends that you will be seeing for these, they will be very similar to the trends that we have already learned for the group 15 element hydrides. So do you remember what is the trend for the group 15 hydrides in case of thermal stability? Well, as we are going to go down the group, the size of the atom increases. Size of the atom increases, so the bond between hydrogen and the element, that is going to increase. As the bond length increases, the strength of the bond becomes weak, and therefore the thermal stability decreases. So as we're going to go down the group, the thermal stability of the hydrides of group 15 decrease. Similarly, the thermal stability of the hydrides of the oxygen family will also be decreasing. Okay, so another thing you have learned in today's lecture related now to the group 16 elements also. All right, so this is also going to be a correct order, and therefore the answer is going to be A and D choices. Both of them, they will be correct. That is why I didn't ask you to do that as a homework. I wanted to discuss it with you. All right, now this is question number 5, and this is a question which you have seen in the previous lecture also. Based upon the compounds of group 15 elements, the correct statement is R. This was a multi-correct question. This is the JEE Advanced 2018 question. In the last lecture, we talked about choice number C and D because we have already discussed that in the last lecture. And in today's lecture, we are also discussed the choice number A. B2O5 is going to be more basic than N2O5. Now you people have to tell me whether this is correct or not. And if you have watched the previous lecture, you can also attempt choice number C and D. Only choice number B over here is left, which I have not discussed with you people. That is going to be discussed in the next lecture when we will be talking about the halides of the group 15 elements. Okay, so we will be doing this question complete in the next lecture. But till now, from A, C and D choices, you can tell me which are going to be the correct statements. Okay, so now this will be question number 4 for your homework. Next is now my have an edge question. Generally, I do not put more than 5 questions in a lecture, but this is my have an edge section question, which means this is going to be a question where I'm going to give you some very important knowledge, which is going to be very helpful for your examination. Let us look at the first question. So we have, which of the following oxides of nitrogen is a mixed anhydride of two acids? The choices are N2O3, N2O4, N2O5 and NO2. This is a single correct question answer. So you have to choose the best option over here. All right, so you can try it first of all yourself, and then I am going to give you and have an edge theory for this question. So you have to find out that which out of those following oxides was a mixed anhydride. So first of all, you should have an understanding how will you differentiate between the oxides to be simple anhydrides and mixed anhydrides. So I'm going to give you a trick to make out between simple and mixed anhydrides. So simple anhydride, what you do is just find out the oxidation state of the central atom. Okay, now the group number of the central atom and the oxidation state, if they are both even or if they both are odd, then it will always be a simple anhydride. For example, if I talk about carbon dioxide, so carbon is going to be a group 14 element and the oxidation state on carbon is going to be +4. Oxygen has -2, so -2 into 2 is going to be -4, and because the compound is neutral, so oxidation state of carbon will be +4. Right? So carbon dioxide has carbon as a group 14 member with the oxidation state of 4. So here the group number is also even and the oxidation state is also even. So this is going to be a a simple anhydride. All right. And then we have N2O3. So here nitrogen, this has an oxidation state of +3 and nitrogen is a group 15 element. So this means that nitrogen's group number and oxidation state both are odd. Either they both have to be even or they have to be both odd to be called as a simple anhydride. Okay, so this is a trick to find out which is going to be a simple anhydride. And then what will be a mixed anhydride? Well, it will be the opposite. What this means is that when the group number of the central atom is even and the oxidation state is odd, or the group number of the central atom is odd and the oxidation state is even, then it will be always a mixed anhydride. So for example, if we talk about N2O4, so N2O4 nitrogen is a group 15 element, the oxidation state is +4, so this will be a mixed anhydride. Okay, so you can find out now the answer to your question. Okay, so we have NO2 again. So this will be a group 15 nitrogen element and there will be oxidation state of +4. So again, we have a odd group number and an even oxidation state. So it will be a mixed anhydride. Now the question is, which is going to be the oxo acid that they will be forming? So now let me tell you a trick for that also. So the trick now I'm going to tell you is going to be the trick for the hydrolysis of anhydrides to oxo acids. Okay, so what are we going to do? We will be having an oxide which is going to be an acidic oxide if we have to convert it into an oxo acid. To that, when we are going to add water, we will be getting the corresponding oxo acid. Okay, but when it is going to be simple anhydride, please do remember that the oxidation state of the central atom in the anhydride and the oxo acid, this remains the same. For example, carbon dioxide, when we will be adding water to it, just simply add these things up. H2, H2, carbon 1, oxygen 2 plus 1, 3. So it forms H2CO3. But just to check whether you have written down the right product, what you have to do is check the oxidation state of the oxide as well as the oxo acid central atom. So carbon will be in +4 oxidation state. Here also carbon will be in +4 oxidation state. Similarly, this reaction we've already done earlier also. So N2O3 plus water, 2 hydrogen, 2 nitrogen and 4 oxygen. This will make it up as 2HNO2. Right? So this is converting of the +3 oxidation state oxide of nitrogen to the us acid. This is what I told you, right? So N2O3 plus water will be giving us HNO2 and N2O5 plus water will be giving us HNO3. So you are going to get the oxidation state of the central atom in the anhydride and the oxo acid to be the same. Okay, but when it is going to be a mixed anhydride, now you know how you are going to differentiate between mixed and simple anhydride. So now what we are going to see is what are the oxo acids which we will be getting from the mixed anhydride. So in mixed anhydride, you are going to get the oxo acids 2 in number. Okay, so the oxidation state of the central atom in the anhydride, first of all, find out that. For example, in N2O4, the oxidation state is going to be +4. Okay, now what you do is just decrease the oxidation state by 1 and increase the oxidation state by 1. So this will be making the oxidation state over here +3, and this will be making the oxidation state +5 over here. Okay, and +3 oxo acid of nitrogen and +5 oxo acid of nitrogen is going to be the two oxo acids that you will be getting. So +3 oxidation state oxo acid for nitrogen is going to be HNO2, and +5 oxo acid is going to be HNO3. So this is going to be the answer. All right. So I hope you now understand. First of all, you have to identify which is going to be a mixed anhydride, which is going to be a simple anhydride. A mixed anhydride is going to be one which is going to be having the group number and the oxidation state to be different. One is going to be odd number, other is going to be an even number. In case of the simple anhydride, it has to be the same. Either both of them they will be odd or both of them they will be even. Okay, and then for the simple anhydride, just add water to it. You will be getting the product, but just to confirm, you have to see the oxidation state of the oxide and the oxo acid central atom is going to be the same. But in case of mixed anhydride, find out the oxidation state of the central atom, do a +1 and do a -1 for it, and write down the corresponding oxo acids for that oxidation state. I think this will be now easy for you. So let us do now the question. So the question which was, which of the following oxides of nitrogen is a mixed anhydride of two oxo acids? Now this would be easy for you. First of all, we have N2O3. So this is going to be +3 oxidation state. This will be +4 oxidation state. This will be +5, and this will be again +4. Okay. So this means now the group 15, group 15, group 15, group 15 for all of them. So this is odd, this is also odd, this is odd and even, this is odd and even. So these two, they will be simple anhydrides, and these two, they will be forming mixed anhydrides. Okay. Now for N2O4, you are going to do a +1 and a -1. What you will be getting is HNO2 and HNO3. You can also add water to this and check. Okay, N2O4. Add water to this. What is the product that will be forming? It will be H2, N2 and O5. So if you just break it up into the two oxo acids, because this is no oxo acid that we have. So you just simply break it up into HNO2 and HNO3. These are the two oxo acids that you will be getting. Now again, NO2 also, if you add water to this, what will you be getting? You will be getting H2NO3. Again, this is no oxo acid of nitrogen. We have just two oxo acids for nitrogen, that is HNO2 and HNO3, nitrous acid and nitric acid. So this is again no oxo acid. So here again, you will have to remember that NO2 does not exist as NO2. It always exists as its dimer, that is N2O4, and if it is going to be N2O4, these are the oxo acids that you will be getting, so it will be again HNO2 and HNO3. Okay, but if you have to just mark a single correct option over here, the correct option is going to be B, and if it is going to be multi-correct, then the options, they are going to be B and D. Okay, I hope this is clear. So that would be all for this lecture, and your homework. I hope you all remember that you have to put your answers to 4 questions that I have asked you in this lecture. And the next lecture, we will be talking about the halides of the group 15 elements, and we will be winding up with the chemical properties of the group 15 elements in general in the next lecture. And from there after, we will be starting with the specific element and their compound study. So see you again for the next lecture. I hope you are enjoying your learning with me. Bye bye.